Now, the last topic of this topic 5.2, luckily, we have test estimation techniques. Like there are some estimation techniques which we can use, like while estimating how much effort will you need during planning phase, how much effort will we need for this particular project. So there are different techniques, but here we will discuss two techniques in detail. There are a number of estimation techniques used to determine the effort required for adequate testing. Two of the most commonly used techniques are, the first one is matrix based technique. What is a matrix based technique? Actually, you have some formula, some calculations, some number of requirement. Let's say you think there are 1,000 requirements, and then if I do the calculation for each requirement to confirm to write test case, I need, let's say, 1 hour. So how much time I will need? Like it's a kind of calculation actually. In the matrix based technique, estimating the test effort based on matrices of formal similar projects or based on typical values. Like maybe you have done the similar kind of testing in your previous projects. You have some data from the previous project, some calculation, maybe some standard, maybe some thumb rules. So it's a matrix based technique. Based on that, you adopt those values and then you replicate them on your current project. Maybe the previous projects has some limited feature, this project has more features, but you have the well known data with you from the previous project. You can like replicate that data and multiply it with which factor you have for the current project, current requirement, and then you can do some calculation and think how much test effort, how much team members or man hours I will need. This is the one technique. The second is expert based technique. The name is clear. Like you do not have the time, for example, to do the calculations for the effort. You guess, yeah, like you have the senior tester in the team. You ask them, they give the estimation and guesses what they think, keeping in view the some old projects. Estimating a test effort based on the experience of the owners of the testing task or by the experts. So for example, if you do not have data from the previous project, let's say, and you have time pressure as well, in that case you will ask expert. Or even if you do not have time pressure, but like you only need some standard, you do not want to go into the calculation of each and each requirement of the project, you simply ask the expert and they will give you the rough idea. Now these techniques are widely used. How? In agile development. In agile development, both of techniques are used. Similarly, in sequential projects, in sequential development lifecycle, both of them are used. So, first of all, we see in agile development. Agile development, the burn down charts are example of metric based approach, as often remaining as effort remaining is being captured and reported. How it works? Maybe those who are already familiar with agile development, they see there are some burn down charts. Let's say at start of a month we have we have 100 requirements, and now these requirements have been reduced by the end of the month or 2 weeks, let's say, and they have come down to 20. So now these requirements have been tested. Now what they will do, for the next sprint or the next phase or the next iteration, they will plan with this 20 requirements. So it's called burn down chart, which is an example of metric based technique in agile development. And then this is then used to feed into the team's velocity to determine the amount of work the team can do in the next iteration. Okay, so like it is a burn down chart. Like your testing efforts, your requirements have been tested, now they burn down to the lower value, and you now you plan. For example, you at start for the sprint you have planned like 50 test cases, let's say. Now they have burned down from 100 to 50. Now you will put this 50 for the next iteration. So it's a kind of matrix based data. Like you have data from the runtime, maybe from the previous project, maybe you are getting this data and doing the calculation. And then the planning poker is an example of expert based approach in agile development. Again, like those who are familiar with agile development, they know we play this game planning poker, or let's say estimation we do for a particular task. Let's say you have task number 1 and there are 5 members in the team. You ask how many hours you think we will need for this task. Like all of 5 will show some cards or will like estimate. Let's say one say 2 hour, the other junior member he says I think 8 hours, one of the senior members says 2, one say 5, 6 hour, and then uh, we ask the person who has like estimated the lowest number and the person who has estimated the higher number, like what are the risk are you looking into this, like they are guessing, and based on that guess we ask the lowest and the highest or worst person what the reasons behind them, and then we take the average. So it's like planning poker is an example of expert based approach in agile development, and this burn down chart is an example of metric based in agile development. Within the sequential project, like the we know we have in chapter number 2 we have discussed in detail about the two different life cycles. One was agile development or iterative development, the other was sequential. So now the sequential, within sequential project, defect removal models are example of metric based approach where volume of defect and time to remove them are captured and record, which then provides a basis for estimating future projects of a similar nature. So what they do, they have a defect removal model. What they do, at start they thought that we have these many defects we could have in our like in our testing, and then when these defects are reduced in the next like during the next release, let's say, or during any phase of the project, then they will use this data again for the for the next version of next release. Whereas the wideband Delphi estimation technique is an example of expert-based approach in which a group of experts provide estimates based on their experience. So like actually these are not required to go in detail for each of them in agile as well as in sequential project. Like you Google, you study in detail about the metrics-based technique, burn down chart, for example, in agile, or let's say poker planning or poker planning game, or maybe you go to study in deep about this Delphi technique or maybe the defect removal model. No, as in the bracket they have written, they are for the advanced levels, so you don't need to worry about this. You only, like what I have told you is enough for you for foundation level exam. These were the test estimation techniques. So friends, this was everything for topic 5.2. We are finally done with topic 5.2. It's a really good thing. If you have any question, any query, any doubt, so put it in the comment section. Don't forget to give us the feedback as well. Don't forget to subscribe our channel, like our videos, and if you are learning our content, share with your friends as well. Until the next video, we wish you happy learning and bye.